just started the A's a couple days ago and needed to take a break because the great Eddie Van Halen died today, and that really kind of shocks me. It hurts. I know he's been sick with cancer for a while, throat cancer, mouth cancer, etc., but I didn't see it coming. Pulling out my VH, I've noticed that I am somehow missing my first album. Don't know where it is and need to find that. I just went through all my albums, so I'm very confused that it's gone, but started here. VH2, great album. Is there any Van Halen albums that weren't good, with the exception of maybe the one with Gary Cherone, which honestly, it wasn't that bad of an album. It wasn't great, but it was different. I spent a long time wanting to hate Van Hagar, but I don't. I admit it. I'm definitely a DLR fan overall, but I love me some Sammy too, so I got no qualms with anything VH related. Decided to pop onto Discogs just to see what VH is nowadays. I wanted to replace my first one because I still just don't understand where it is. And I used to have a copy of For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge, and when I lived in LA, about 2010, my dog at the time, Princess Lucifer II, she decided to destroy some albums one day, and she ate For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge, literally tore up the entire cover and the album itself. And I'm looking, and the cheapest one on there is about $90, so that's not cool. Thanks, Luce. Anyways, yeah, I'm gonna get through these VH albums because I feel it's something I just need to do to kind of mourn the great Eddie Van Halen. I mean, talk about the end of an era, the end of a master. I mean, there was Hendrix, and nothing came close to touching him until there was Eddie Van Halen. He was a game changer, man, for a lot of people. Dimebag Darrell, I mean, you know, Zakk Wylde. I could go on and on with how many people have been influenced by the great Van Halen, be it Eddie or Van Halen themselves. And wow, we lost a true master today. So I'm gonna grab into these, and I'll let you know what I think about them once they're over. Drop Dead Legs, probably one of my favorite Van Halen songs off the 1984 album, which is, for me, the definitive Van Halen album. That's when, I was about 8 years old when it came out, and I was just starting to get into heavier rock and discovering metal, and that was a big game changer for me. It took me a while to actually get into the older stuff, but once I did, I figured out the true power of Van Halen, if you will. So going back to the beginning of that, we had one off of each of the albums that I have right now. So we started with one off of Van Halen 2, it was DOA, or Dead or Alive. Off of Women and Children First, it was Loss of Control, which is probably the heaviest riff that Eddie Van Halen ever wrote, or played, I should say. Off of Fair Warning, we had Sinner's Swing, which is another one of my personal favorites. Hang 'em High from Diver Down, and then Drop Dead Legs from 1984. And at that point, again, I was a young kid when this came out, so hearing 1984 and then finding out David Lee Roth left, I, obviously got into the David Lee Roth solo stuff when he did, California Girls and all that stuff. But anyways, when 5150 came out, I thought it was an excellent album. Yes, I prefer DLR to the Sammy Hagar years, but I've never had a problem embracing the Sammy years, especially when you start your first album like this.
Hello, baby!
Between the humorous Chubby Checker type intro, his scream, and Eddie's blistering guitar solo just from the beginning, I thought that 5150 was off to a great start, especially as a 10-year-old, and I still to this day think it holds up. I know a lot of people argue who's better, Sammy or Dave. Well, you know what? Both of them can exist. They're both good enough. Yeah, OU812, another great album in the Van Halen catalog, and a way for a band to move forward and still thrive, having had to replace their vocals.
Right down to the last drop.
And so that brings me to the end of my Van Halen catalog. See you next time when I begin the A's. Rest in peace, Eddie Van Halen. You're gonna be missed.